I was doing some research trying to find some political pundits who are neutral, which isn't easy. I mean, I try to be neutral, but, I don't always succeed. So, this advertisement, a political advertisement, because, almost all the advertisements these days are political, came up on the screen, and within the first few seconds, one of the people on the screen said, and this was not a presidential campaign, it was a different campaign for the local area, said, "We have a choice between a career politician and a business person." Now, depending on where you're coming from, what you understand and what you don't understand, one or the other, or maybe even both of those, don't appeal to you. But the truth of the matter is it's not black and white. There's really almost nothing in the world that is just black or white, good or evil. It's a range, a spectrum, if you will. So if we talk about a politician who's a career politician, that means they've spent their most or all of their career in politics. Now, there are revolving door politicians who go between the political sphere of influence, back and forth between that and industries that they help. That's revolving door politicians. And those people are quite often scumbags that are just there for the money. They're money whores. I have no respect for people like that. They go between the military-industrial complex and Congress. They go between big pharma or big medicine or big insurance or big agriculture or big supplements or whatever to get things built up on both sides to aid those industries. And I think that they should never be allowed in office. But, people are easily swayed, especially when money is thrown in huge quantities into campaigns to defeating other people who are actually good people. So we do have career politicians who are absolutely horribly corrupt right now, who are in bed for huge sums of money. I mean, you can look at the Congress, you can look at the Supreme Court, you can look at other places, and you see this corruption. And it's a big problem in America. America is being destroyed from within by all these greedy people. And this has always been an issue, but with the way things have been of late, it's getting worse. So there are political people, career politicians, who are good. Unfortunately, they are the minority. I'm not going to name them who I think are good ones. I'm not going to name who I think are bad ones. But, if you pay close attention, sometimes you can figure it out. Some of them are just grandstanding all the time to make themselves look good, pandering and taking money while they're screwing their constituency over, and some of them are actually helping their constituency. But what about, should we then choose business people? Would that be a better option? Well, you have to look at their history. You have to look at what kind of industries they've worked in, what kind of roles they held in those industries, what kind of political platform they have, and what their agenda is. And you can look at their history and you can get an idea of, this person's probably going to vote this way on this and that way on that, and so on and so forth. And you can get a feel for them if you dig enough. Now, there are some people like Ryan D. McCarthy, who was the Secretary of Army under Trump for a while, who it's hard to find information on. Some information has been scrubbed. But you can find information. The question is will you? So if we look at people, be it business people or entertainers, a lot of times people choose, say, an entertainer like Clint Eastwood, Jesse Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronald Reagan, and several others, because they liked them as actors, directors, producers, wrestlers, whatever. Not necessarily because they thought they were a good politician. Some people, if Tom Cruise were to run, there would be a lot of people who would vote for him, especially I'm not going to go there, but there'd be a lot of people who would vote for him just because he is a very good actor. I would never vote for him because he is a raving Scientologist, and he's very abusive as well, according to the allegations that I have repeatedly heard. But yeah, some people don't look beyond the surface. And so they see somebody who has consistently portrayed a bad guy versus somebody who's consistently portrayed a good guy, both of them wanting to be politicians. They'll tend to want to go for the guy who has consistently portrayed himself or herself as a good person or chosen, like Denzel Washington. Most often Denzel Washington has chosen characters who are good, like the Bone Collector movie, where he was a paralyzed detective and he solves this crime. So anyways, people vote a lot of times on things that are inconsequential, like physical appearance and how well they speak, and whether they speak at a level that people in general find to be at their level, or that is approachable, or is comforting, or seems to be genuine. But the thing of it is you can talk that way and be totally fake. And you can choose somebody who's a business leader and is a psychopath, or a narcissist, or a megalomaniac, or a monomaniac, or any of a number of other things. And you're going to end up with a very bad person getting more power, more influence, and more wealth. And there are a lot of those in government. They gravitate to that because it allows them to break all kinds of laws under the veil of decency, pretend decency, obviously. So it is never, that guy's a career politician, I'm not going to vote for him. Or that guy's a business person, he's not going to know anything about how to do politics, I'm not going to vote for him or her. It's never that easy. And you have to pay close attention. And it's hard because there are so many people that you have to vote for. Now, obviously, for president, there's the dynamic duo, right? But, there are judges to vote for, and state senators, and congresspeople, and governors, and judges, and so on and so forth. And it's just a lot. Even the people that act as the medical examiners, who often, if I remember correctly from the John Oliver video about it, are not medically trained. They are politically appointed, or they are appointed through voting. But anyways, I heard that we have a choice between a business person and a career politician. And it sounds so obvious if you don't pay attention, but it's not obvious. I mean, if Bill Gates or Prince Andrew or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or several other very, very, very rich people were to vote, and you asked me, or not vote, but to run for president, say, for example, or governor or something, or and you were to say, Glenn, what do you think of this person? I would almost unilaterally say no. And the reason is quite simple. The vast majority of very rich people and very powerful companies, big companies like Amazon, Jeff Bezos is another one, Andy Jassy, so on and so forth. The vast majority of those people got where they're at by not being ethical, by not being moral, by not doing right by their employees and society and the environment, but by prioritizing the green god, money. I mean, green in this country anyways. So you point out somebody that has tons of money? And I say probably not. I'm sure there are exceptions. I don't know who they would be, but most likely, no. But then if you start pointing at a lot of career politicians, I'm going to say no too. Because there are so many bad people involved in politics, because that's where the money and the power and the connections are. So just be careful. Think carefully. Don't look at, oh, pretty or handsome. Don't look at, are they a good speaker? Because frankly, somebody can be a really good speaker, but can be rotten to the core. Or they can be very bad at social interactions where it's not staged. You know, like the debate is staged. I mean, they practice for those things. But when you have somebody meeting somebody unexpectedly and they have to interact, that's more important, because that tells you more about whether they're going to be able to handle their role as a diplomat, or if they're going to just blurt out the first stupid thing that comes to their head, which can be, in some cases, disastrous. So I know right now our candidates are a businessman who was in the military but did not serve because of bone spurs, and his partner who was in the military as well, and I believe he did actually see action, but I'm not positive about that. And then on the other side, we have a former DA and Attorney General from California turned VP, and her running mate is a governor who was in the Marines for a long time, although he wasn't, I don't believe, on the front lines. That doesn't matter, because you need support personnel just as much as you need soldiers. It falls apart without the support personnel. Yes, you need the soldiers, but you have to have the support. And sometimes the support is a larger component of the military than the actual soldiering portion. So to denigrate somebody because they were serving as support, I mean, is a doctor important? What do you think? Would you rather your army not have any medical professionals? Just one example. It's so easy. But I look at the behavior that I'm seeing from both sides, and it's childish, and it's mudslinging and lying and not answering questions, straight questions. They're like kind of like in the Matrix when Neo is dodging the bullets from Jack. They say something, but they're not actually answering the question, and then they switch the subject to something else. That's deflection, redirection, and it's dishonest. Or they say a whole bunch of something, but it doesn't actually answer your question. And politicians are famous for that. If you ask me right now who to vote for, I would say, okay, look at Cornel West. Look at Jill Stein. Maybe look at Kamala Harris. I'm not really familiar with the rest of the candidates, so I can't really talk about them. Except for I wouldn't go for Marianne Williamson. Obviously not because she's a woman, because I just named two women, but there are other reasons. I wouldn't vote for Trump and Vance. Just setting aside all the bad things that supposedly are going to happen if Trump wins, he's just, from a psychological perspective, he's deeply disturbing to me. And from a historical and legal perspective, he is just as disturbing. And I'm not going to explain that, but yeah. What do you think? Would you choose a business person or a career politician? Or would you go for somebody else? Let me know in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks. I hope this video helped.